Hello, I am Sister Tootie Toot of the Musical Fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. The more you toot, the better you feel. So eat your Tootie at every meal. Keeper of the holy fragrance, passer of the sacred wind, and bearer of the sacred chalice of reek. From the Los Angeles Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. And I'm here today to talk about the AIDS life cycle. I have been a 10-year participant, and I find it to be the most wonderful event that I've ever participated in. The AIDS Life Cycle is a 7-day event which travels from San Francisco down to Los Angeles, stopping along the way. We stop in many communities that are normally that don't really get to experience gay people as much as the big towns of San Francisco and Los Angeles get to. But I will tell you this, over the years of participation, the communities have come to know who we are and what we stand for, and every single one of them is opening and welcoming to all the crazy people that come through their town. One in particular is the town of Bradley, and this is one town that is off the beaten path. Since the 101 was built, it was part of the old highway that the highway no longer goes through their town. But for the one day, the 8 hours that we invade their town, they have a barbecue for us. And with that barbecue, they're able to raise enough money to support most of their school's budget for the year. The town has no stoplights, it has a post office and a fire station. That's it. But you know what? That community comes out and welcomes us every single year and will take the time out to come in and greet us and cheer for us, and be the most welcoming people in the middle of nowhere. Their town is literally in the middle of nowhere. But they have the biggest heart and the biggest spirit that brings everybody together and makes that one day a completely different day for not only the kids in that town, but for the riders and the roadies who get to see and meet these wonderful kids. Through every community that we travel through on the AIDS life cycle, there are people that come out to greet us and cheer us on and thank us for the participation and for what we do. The one that sticks out most for me is on the very first day. When we are near the end of the day, we are coming to the town of Santa Cruz, and every single year there is a woman sitting on the sideline, just sitting there, not cheering, not yelling, but holding a sign that says thank you, and it has a picture of her brother. And she will clap for us, and she holds the sign, and she cries the entire time, because as long as people are aware of the disease that is still affecting people, she is able to keep the memory of her brother alive. And for one day out of the entire year, she is able to remember who he was and what he brought to her life, and she shares that with us as we move past it between 25 and 30 miles an hour. But you know what? She sits there and she's just a reminder to us of why we do what we do with the AIDS life cycle. I started participating in the AIDS life cycle on a dare from a friend. He said that I didn't have the guts to spend a week volunteering my time to just be a roadie helping out at an event. And through that, I learned so much about myself, about a community that I didn't even know existed. In and amongst our gay community is a community of just people that are so dedicated to getting rid of HIV and the stigma associated with it, but at the same time raising money and awareness for a very deadly disease that still affects us to this day. The Candlelight Vigil takes place on the very last night of AIDS life cycle, and all of the participants, all of the riders, the roadies, members of the community, family that have driven up to Ventura on the final night, all quietly process onto the beach, holding a candle that starts from one flame and then spreads to everybody else. It is an organic event, not scripted. There is nothing that tells us what to do. Everybody kind of en masse moves towards the beach, and we stop and we remember those who have been affected, who have died, and who are family members of those who have lived with the disease or died from the disease. We remember them for that. What seems like a short bit of time, but will always stick with us. The candlelight vigil is special to me because my sister comes up and participates with me. And she is one of the reasons why I participate in not only the AIDS Life Cycle, but the candlelight vigil. Because for the last 4 years, she has been there with me. And we do it together. And together, we are a stronger force for fighting HIV and AIDS. So, I have participated in the Life Cycle for 10 years now. And although I get up every morning on the Life Cycle between 4 and 5 in the morning, and I work all the way until 7 o'clock at night, the adrenaline and the energy that is derived from the group is what keeps me going. It is, in the short 7 days, all the participants and all the participants create a love bubble that is a world where there is no HIV, there is no stigma, there are no titles, there are no roles. Everybody, men, women, people from 18 to 72 are all equal and equivalent. And each person treats each other with dignity, respect, and love. And although it's not a requirement, it's just an organic environment that is created through all these people who've come together for one cause, and that is to end HIV. The one big takeaway I learned personally from the AIDS Life Cycle is the separation of the disease from the person. They are two completely separate things. That our community and the world loves to intertwine the fact that the people and the disease are one and the same, and they're not. Because you can still love somebody who is positive, and it has no relation to how you feel about that person. It is merely something that is part of their life and affects them more significantly than other things, but is not something that should be a factor in whether you love somebody or they're a friend of yours. Personally, it's no longer something that is a determining factor as to whether I will date somebody or I won't date somebody. Not like smoking. I will not date a smoker. I will date somebody who's positive, because they are two separate things. You can get involved by going to AIDSLifeCycle.org and logging in and registering for the event, but also finding your family and friends that are registered and donating to their participation in the event.